What's up with it?
Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good, thank you.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself, let people know who you are.
Hey, everybody. My name is Stacey Pugh. I am a project manager and event coordinator and production extraordinaire. I own a company called Hunnipop, where we are a premier production space here in St. Louis and all over. So, yeah.
Yeah. So before we dive all the way into that, let the people know exactly who is Stacey Pugh.
It's a loaded question. Stacey Pugh is a unicorn. No, I'm just a girl out of St. Louis, just going for her dreams. Started out just wanting to do something different. Thought I was going to take a traditional path when it came to school and all the different things, and it just didn't end up that way. So I'm just a girl that's going for it. Yeah.
What part of St. Louis did you grow up in?
I grew up in Berkeley.
Okay.
But I went to a small private school. It was probably about 33, 36 graduating people out of my class. My school was located in the Ferguson, Florissant area. And then I went off to school about 4 hours away from here in a small rural town in Missouri.
How would you say a small?
Rural, like country, like sticks. The only thing that was popping for that town was the college.
What college was that by chance?
Truman State University.
Okay.
So it's in Kirksville, Missouri.
Yeah.
So you would go to Columbia and drive an hour and a half north, and then you'll end up in Kirksville.
Gotcha. I think
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with a singer here named Faith Miller. I think she went.
Faith Miller.
Yeah.
Her name sounds familiar. Did she go to Truman?
Yeah.
Or what year did she
actually
come
grew
out
up
of
in that
Truman?
area. I want to say I ain't
Right.
I don't want to say
right.
it
You
wrong.
don't even want to say it. Right. Because I'm going to say, when was she there? I'm like, I might know her, but I might not. It just depends on when she was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you describe your experiences, I guess, growing up in St. Louis?
Mm-hmm.
I know you said you went to school out there, but you
Right.
primarily grew up here.
My experiences in St. Louis were basically just beautiful. I have lots of family. Have a really big family. Spend lots of time doing things, exploring St. Louis, going to different areas in St. Louis, spending time with my cousins and my friends, and I like doing things with my family because I only have one sibling and he's 16 years older than me. So my aunts and my uncles, a lot of them, either they stayed out of town or their kids were out of town or something. So I always spend a lot of time with them because a lot of the kids were older. So just spending time with my family, just doing typical, teenage, kids stuff.
Okay.
That's what I remember with growing up and just being in St. Louis, just going to different spaces, exploring, making sure I was going to a museum or just some kind of festival or just some kind of things with cultures. I grew up in a lot of those spaces. So. Yeah.
Before I move on to the next question, you said you and your sibling are 16 years apart?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like me and my brother.
You're right. My brother is, so he's older.
Yeah.
And so I always felt like I am the only child. I basically am. So my experiences with just doing things, I just have lots of friends. Through knowing lots of people and like growing, I feel like that's how I really grew my network, is because I just knew a lot of people. Because it was just me, and sometimes they be like, only kids like to say to themselves, only child. That wasn't me. I like to just interact with a lot of people. So
I know you, like I said, you said that you, as a child, you kind of, went to various events like sports museums and just events throughout the city. That would kind of led to the Hunnipop.
I would say what really led to the creation of Hunnipop is definitely being social and knowing a lot of things, having a cultural basis. But what really led to Hunnipop was leaning into mentorship and trying to network when I came back home from college. So when I came back home, a really big thing for me was finding like my tribe, finding out, where do I want to work, how do I want to build my career, what legacy do I want to live in St. Louis. And I just kept feeling like I was hitting roadblocks. I feel like I wasn't finding the space that was made for me. And so I started just interviewing people that were interested in me. A lot of those people I knew because they were my friends, or they were friends of fans, or they were family. And so just knowing who they were. See, Hunnipop originally started as a media company. interview, print, writing. I used to write for some events and media platforms outside of St. Louis. So it all started with that. But as I grew out of that, I learned that I really like to host. And so with hosting and having that background with media, I just fused together all of that, and production came about. I've worked in podcasting and videos and print and like a lot of those different things. And so fusing all of that together was the creation of Hunnipop.
And you said you did the media first.
Mm-hmm.
Was it it's Happy Hour somewhere? If I'm not mistaken.
It's Happy Hour somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Was that was something I created out of quarantine.
Gotcha.
Being social, and so I'm interested. I like when I can be around people. Then I like my time to myself. And so actually being in quarantine was like the perfect combination for me to create It's Happy Hour somewhere, because what I was able to do was interview people that I knew, and we would go live on Instagram or Facebook, and then you just had everybody just flooding in and just watching and participating from their homes. So I created that because one, being the pandemic, was everybody was trying to figure out what they wanted to do. Everybody was trying to figure out a new trade or, just learn something new. And so I figured if we need to be keeping the lines of communication open, we need to be learning and growing. And so I took it upon myself to create this series that people are like, you need to bring it back, which I might. I don't have time right now, but I might. And that's how that really came about, was because of the pandemic and trying to keep people socially connected. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to curating these events,
mm-hmm.
like, what are some of the most, I guess, important parts of it? Because that could be difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the first thing, well, one, it all starts with an idea. Somebody has the idea of something that they're wanting to curate, that they're wanting to showcase. The second part of it is, how am I going to do it? Who's my team? What's my budget? That's the biggest thing when it comes to people when they're thinking about an event, is you got to really put your mind behind, like, what is this going to actually cost? And that cost consumes like your time, it consumes like your production, it consumes what you want it to look like. And so you have to really start there. If you don't have that base, then you're really not going to have a good event if you don't have those first, like, key things.
Gotcha. Now, where did this inspiration come from? Like, where did this whole thing start?
As far as
I guess wanting to do this.
Wanting to just be in the world of like doing events and production.
Mm-hmm.
Just my upbringing. My family is very loving on both sides of the family. My dad has 4 sisters. My mom has 7 siblings. So, there was always just lots of love and lots of extended family, and we would host, and, I would have families who had friends who, that was their big thing, was to host. And so being able to host people in a bigger space where they're not necessarily in my home is very special to me. And just hosting an event is just not about, building, making money. For me, it's about actually building a brand and establishing something where I know that I went to this event and I learned something. I knew I went to this event and I walked away and I got a job, or I created a relationship. So it's a little bit deeper for me as to like why I'm actually in this space of events. So yeah, it's just that's the reason why I actually do it, is because I love hosting, and I love hosting at a larger scale. I love seeing people happy. I love seeing them be able to experience something that they've probably never experienced before, because I knew what that looked like for me, to go and travel out of the country, or to go to a museum, or to learn something new. And so if I can create a new experience for you, then that makes me happy, because now that experience is something that you have for the rest of your life, and that's a good core memory. So.
Now, are you doing all this alone, or is the team helping you?
So that's a great question. It has always been me when it's come to Hunnipop, but I've been working with lots of different event coordinators, and I'm building out my team. I can't do it alone. When it comes to production, it's a lot of different details that you have to tune in with. And so I will say that this is the first year that I've actually been able to extend my company and be able to bring people on. And for me, it's not bringing them on like saying like, oh, you're a part of this, and like, like a bragging thing, but like bring them on it. Like I'm allowing people to, I'm letting people into my space. I'm creating jobs for people that's important for me, and you know, helping them build their careers. Like that is really huge for me. So yeah.
What are some I guess qualifications that you look for when you're looking for a team member to help you out with this?
Mm-hmm.
Or for someone who's wanting to help you.
Who wants to work with me.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's just about how passionate are you about wanting to be in this kind of space. Are you wanting to, like, what are your reasons? Like for me, it's just finding out and discovering, like, what are your true reasons wanting to be a part of this work? Because some people might not have the right intentions. They might not want to actually grow in the event space. They just want to be in your business and, you know, just going along with what you got. So I really just got to know, like, how humble, bragging rights. I want to know, like, are you like humble? Are you passionate? What does that actually really look like for you? Are you really trying to grow? Are you just trying to be a part of this because of the opportunities I have? I'm here to create opportunity for you, but if I feel like you're just here to you know, just be a part of it just because, then you're not going to be the best team member for me. And somebody that can teach me something and I can teach them something. Like that's important for me. Exchange information, like exchange value. That's like super important for me.
And do you have any events coming up?
I absolutely have events coming up. That's what I was texting and calling before I was coming in. I have the Pepper Kickback. It's always the day before Thanksgiving. It's the ultimate Friendsgiving. This is our 6th year. That would have been our 6th year, but it's the 5th year that we're celebrating. So.
And I guess, like you say, it would have been a 6th year, I guess, because of
COVID. I did my I was responsible, and I didn't go and have an event during COVID. I did my due diligence, and we brought it back last year, and it was beautiful.
Now the first one was in 2017?
First one was in 2017. Mm-hmm.
What made you start that event? Because looking back now, it's 6 years in the making.
Right. So for me, growing up and trying to find people that like spoke the same language and were like role models, you know, we've had a lot of people in our culture who are those people. For me, it was Issa Rae about 5 or 6 years ago. Issa Rae has a really beautiful storyline. She started on YouTube. She started with skits. She started as this awkward black girl, which I feel like a lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot, I'm just going to speak for myself. I feel like her spirit and where she started resonated with me because I feel like I was someone who definitely fit in but had all of these wild ideas and was super weird and quirky and just all these different things. And so just seeing her in the space that she was in as far as production and how she grew and how we got Insecure, you know, that was just really dope for me. So just following her journey, following her social media. And so I just happened to be on, it was either Instagram or Twitter one night, and here she was in Atlanta with like all of her castmates with Insecure, different producers, writers, dancers, actors, actresses, like all of these different people in different backgrounds all in one space. And they were, they were probably kicking it, but they was also networking. It was a lot of exchanged information and value that was happening in that space that we didn't see, but I know that was happening because you had all of these different people there. So for me, I was like, I need this. I want to create something like that because I want to feel like I can network, but I also want to feel like I can be social and be myself as well. And so I created the Lemon Pepper Kickback. They jokingly said it in one of the skits that they were doing on when they went live, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but it stuck with me. And like within that next 2 weeks, I had a friend, she had a loft. I was like, I think I want to throw an event, but I want people to network and I want there to be food. And I was watching Issa Rae and it called it the Lemon Pepper Kickback. And she was like, okay, well, it's $500 deposit, put it down, send it out. It can hold like 60, 70 people. And it went from one text that went out to like maybe 20 of my closest people. We had about maybe 80 people there. Everybody BYOB'd. I got like signs made. I got like a Snapchat filter made. And from that one event, people told me, like, I met somebody, I got a new job, or I met the love of my life. I know a couple that is actually getting married based on that first interaction. Shout out to Morgan and Donna. And so that space, I knew that what I created, it was one that I couldn't walk away from and not create again. It was safe, it was sexy, it was cool, it was everything that I feel like a lot of people needed. And so it wasn't just one of those things where they said, like, somebody telling you, like, oh, bring it back, and I didn't want to do it. Every time somebody would tell me, like, bring the kickback back, I really wanted to do it, and I wanted to make it bigger and better. So that was long-winded, but I was about, you know.
I was going to ask, for a person who never been, what can I expect to be there? I expect there are anybody who never been.
Well, I mean, each year is different, but one thing you can expect to either reunite with somebody that you haven't seen before, make a new connection, learn something new about your city, may it be a business or a location. Every location is always different that we have the event at. Get some new merch. Like, it's you can expect so many different things. It's a space that's curated for you to follow along with what's happening, or you really can create your own memory there, however you want that to look. So, yeah.
Now, do you have any, like, sponsors helping you out, anything like that?
I do. And it's a beautiful thing to see, like, where I started and where I'm at now. Because I always thought, like, who would support, like, something called the Lemon Pepper Kickback? Like, what the heck is the Lemon Pepper
Rick
Kickback?
Ross.
Right, Rick Ross, you know, something like that. You know, people instantly think about chicken and things like that. But for me, it always landed with it being the ultimate Friendsgiving and being the space where people should network. And so explaining that to different brands and companies now, and just letting them know, like, the numbers that I've had every year and, like, the different, you know, the different things that we've experienced through each event, it's been really easy for me to get sponsors now. So this year I was able to go to We Power and say, hey, I need a sponsorship. I was able to get Regional Arts Commission in Wingstop and Sanction in Hustle City and Remy, I'm excited to say this, Remy has always been a supporter. The drink, not the her. The drink has always been a supporter of the Lemon Pepper Kickback. So having a major liquor brand, of course, being a part of it it might not sound like a lot, but it was been huge for me ever since I had the second one. They've always told me yes. They've always showed up. They've always been somebody a part of it. And then a really great diverse sponsor for me this year is STL Made. STL Made is a huge marketing platform and company that's here out of St. Louis, and a big thing that they really wanted to show is that who is our city, what are we made of, and it's not just made of, like, one person. It's made up of, like, all kind of different people. And so telling the stories of, like, who we are, and for them to support something like the Lemon Pepper Kickback was, like, really huge for me, and for them to say yes. So it's definitely been an exciting grow with Google. Shout out with Google, they supported me this year, so it's been exciting for people to say yes. Yeah.
Now, how can the community get behind you and help you, like with the Hunnipop or even the Lemon Pepper Kickback or any of your events?
Right. I would say hire me. You have major events, you have an idea, going back to that idea, if you have something that sounds, like, ridiculous, a huge festival, a huge concert, a huge something that has never been done before, I want to dream with you. I want to help show what the city, what you have in your mind, and bring it to life. For me, like I said, being able to travel, being able to attend big major events and seeing what it does for people, I want to be that person to help you figure out the bones to the back end of all of it, because it is a lot of work. So if my support looks like just dream with me, hire me, put me in your spaces, bring me to your table, and I'll do the same. That's what the support looks like. And connect me. A big part of my brand is connecting. Get me, if you know someone that, you know, can support my brand or support any of the events that I have, let me have a conversation with them. I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm all about, you know, connecting people and making sure that they are, you know, getting to the right spaces that need to. I'm asking for the same thing.
One more question before we end. You just said connect me. What about connect her?
Okay. That was okay. That was a good. I see that. That was good. Connect Her was a brainchild of, it was like an homage to myself as a black woman and wanting to be in spaces with other black women and us positively meeting up with each other and talking about just having a conversation, and for you to support black women-owned businesses and to hear from a black woman therapist, or to hear, to sit and do yoga, or hear from somebody that's black and in tech. And so I created that space for women to see themselves, to see where they can be, to see where they need to keep going. And so that series actually started maybe about 5 years ago. It's kind of downsized since COVID, but it being more intimate, and what I've been able to create in past COVID, having more intimate spaces has been very, very successful for the women that attended it, and I'm just looking forward to see where that's going to go next too. So
yeah, I say keep it going. Just keep it going.
Thank you.
For the Lemon Pepper Kickback,
yes,
how can future attendees, purchase the tickets?
Go to lemonpepperkickbackstl.com. That's a business tip. Make sure you buy your domains, buy your website domains. You start an event or a brand. Make sure you buy your event domains. So go to the lemonpepperkickbackstl.com. Tickets are on sale, but we have already sold out twice. And on Monday, November 21st, we'll be dropping the location. I will say that it is black women owned, and I'm just really excited to be supporting our city. And go online, buy your tickets.
For someone who maybe want to hire you, like you said, to support you, where can they find you at?
You can go to hunnipop.com, put in a consultation. My books will open at the end of this month. However, just go to my website, fill out all of the information, and I'll be in contact with you, or someone from my team will. But I'm also across all social media platforms at Hunnipop, or you can go to my personal page. It's very wide open. I'm super communicative. It's Stacey's Adventures.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Peace, everybody.